YouTube.com/Tim Westwood TV. Now, we've known each other from that first album, No More Mr. Nice Guy, back in 1989.
Yes, sir.
From there to this day, I mean, what's your take, on current hip-hop? How you feel it?
It's changed a lot. It's evolved a lot. A lot of youngsters, which I think, I don't like to categorize things, but now you have a lot of kiddie rap, for the kids, and that's cool because now they have their own lane. But I do feel like people that's in my age group, 30s and late in 40s, can still do hip hop. You just got to make it for your audience. Don't try to, try to get the little kids to buy your records by making it where it's accessible just for them because that's what's popping on the radio. There should be an adult format where just like you have classic rock, you have classic jazz, but then you have the newer people that come through. Just like you have outlaw country music, but you also have the newer pop country. So in my opinion, I stay with doing the rugged raw, the way I was taught, scratching, cutting, and mixing, and just hard beats, hard rhymes, and the skill level still has to be high. So for that, that's what I stick to, and that so hip hop is fine. Otherwise, you just got. But all these people that complain, that's in my age group, they gotta stop complaining and put out some heat.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that we love and looked up to that make garbage that I can't co-sign. I ain't gonna co-sign you if it's whack. That's the reason why on my show I play it only if I like it. If I don't like it, I do not play it. I don't do any lookouts. I gotta look. I gotta feel it. If you don't feel it, it's fine. Red Alert taught me that a long time ago. Yo, if I don't like it, give me another record. I might not like that one. Give me 10 more. I might like the other 10.
Yes.
I'll just keep. But at least he had the door open to let me give him another record. And Manifest was the first record that he played besides Bust a Move before I was in Gangstar. So, but that's how I learned to always be open to anything that comes your way. Gordon has brought me records like, yo, check this out. And people I've never heard of them, or we'll see a YouTube, and I'll be like, yo, try to track them down, and get the records. Like, that's what we do. So hip hop is fine.
Exactly, and there's a lot of people, who get mad and say it's not as good as it was, and man, it's just a different generation right now. Just either ride with it or do your own lane.
Exactly. That's why. But that's why you're still here. That's why I'm still here. I mean, my phone still rings.
Now we've got the brand new heat at #1. Nick Jarvis. Welcome to the show, Nick. Good to have you along, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Exactly. Now, Nick Jarvis is an interesting rap name. It sounds like a real name, as opposed to an alter ego.
That's because it is a real name.
Okay, so Nick, good to have you along, dog.
Yeah, man, you got it.
So this is the brand new record, produced by Primo on Primo label.
Year Round Records.
Yes.
It's when I signed him, we met a few years back, and long story short, I was like, I got to find a way to break you in to where we're different from other records I've already released, and he said, why don't you make a record with him trying to convince me to sign him to the label. And he came up with the title Opportunity Knocks, and I was like, Opportunity Knocks, I'll make a record with a knock on the door and make a beat out of it. So I took a knock on the door sample and made a beat around it, and pretty much we just communicate through scratches and cuts with me grading him on his rhyme level skills before he gets the deal. And we just shot the video too, so that'll be out in a couple weeks, so look out for that.
Man, let's go in with this then.
Shout to Biggest Gord, who's in here, who runs the label, and been down with me since college, man.
Oh man, Gordon's a good guy, man.
Yes, he is.
I remember one time you guys left him behind, man. I had to go and scoop him up and take him to the airport. Do you remember that?
Yes, we do.
That was a true
I'm sure
story,
he was
man.
excited about that, right?
He was left behind. You guys just broke out. You left him behind. Like 3 days later, I had to go get him, take him to the airport, and you were in a bad way, man. He was a little in a bad way, weren't you?
Gordon is the king of duty free.
Well, I was there for him.
Duty free.
I was there for him.
His new name is Put It in Your Bag, because he'll be like, yo, my bag's heavy. Could you put these in your bag?
Always over the weight.
Now, if I was to ask you, what is your favorite record that you have produced out of all the records that you've produced, what would you say?
I get that question in every interview, so I'm surprised you're asking that, because
I'm so generic.
I could definitely say Mass Appeal is one of my favorites. favorites because we did that record to make fun of when radio started to soften up with hip hop. You know, back in the later '90s. You know, when it started to make that transition with the shiny suits and everything. No diss to Puff. You know, we were angry when Puff was taking over, but we weren't mad at him personally because you know he's a beautiful businessman and gets it done, and his history is just incredible. So shout out to Diddy, and I'm actually supposed to be working with him on his album too. I don't know if it's finished or not, but he gave me a nice little listening party and everything over at Daddy's house. So shout out to him. And you know, long story short, I mean, that's one of my favorites with Mass Appeal. Dwick was just so much fun.
Phenomenal,
because Don Barron of the Masters of Ceremony was there.
Oh, yeah,
WC, you know, from Ice Cube, WC was there when we did the record. So Dwick was just a lot of fun. You know, it's so many. Above the Clouds is one of my favorites too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and what about non-Gangstar?
Definitely Nas is like, you know, I always wanted to do a single with Nas. New York State of Mind is just super ill. And one of the reasons why I love that is because at the beginning of the record, when he's about to start his verse, he goes, I don't know how to start this. And then you hear him kick it in. He really didn't know because he just wrote the verse. And I'm counting him off at the booth, and he just happens to look up, and then he just starts to spit the verse. So we left that little audio in there at the beginning of the record. So it's just ill to see him just lay that whole verse in one take. So yeah, New York State of Mind. I love D Evils with Jay-Z.
Right.
Of course, I love Unbelievable with Biggie because that wasn't supposed to happen, and it happened because he didn't have the money to pay me, and I was like, I'll do it for $5,000.
Oh wow.
And you know, I was clocking 30 plus at that time, which was in the 90s was a lot of money.
Yes, a lot of money.
And so I was like, Big, I'll do it for you for $5,000, and I did it. And it became my first actually gold single on the B-side of Juicy.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. to B.I.G.
Oh man, incredible, man.
Yeah.
Well, have fun tonight, my brother.
Will do.
Good to see you, man. And Nick, really good to reach out, and best luck with everything, man.
Great to meet you, man. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure, man.
Thank you for having me on the countdown. I will be bragging about that when I get back home.
Oh, cool. All right, we're going in, baby.
Just thinking of a way and went to get the brother. They'll be long gone before the kid recovers. And back around the way, he'll have the chain on his neck, claiming respect just to get a rep.
Digital frequency, one extra.
YouTube.com/Tim Westwood TV.